Hello, and thank you for joining us as we discuss our analysis on chocolate in the global market. If we think about candy that all countries have in common, our first thought is chocolate. I mean, who doesn't love to savor a delicious piece of decadent and sweet chocolate while traveling abroad? To help us determine our research objectives, it is important for us to learn what makes consumers buy chocolate. Where is the best place to get chocolate's main ingredient, cacao? And with that, some of our burning platforms include where is a high demand for chocolate, and how can we determine a formula for best tasting chocolate pertaining to each individual country. It is also important to understand how does each country's chocolate differ and what makes them have a competitive advantage over competitors. With that, our intended outcomes from our data will determine most prosperous regions that are required to produce fine chocolates, determine a formula that will help the making of chocolate, determine how to produce the best chocolate at a lower cost compared to competitors, and use a formula to compute what countries have the best chocolate based off of consumer reviews. Therefore, we expect differences between all candy types compared to chocolate based on favorability. We expect greater favorability in chocolate among all other candy types, and we expect the quality of cocoa to improve and trend upwards in recent years. These expectations tie into our hypotheses. Our data will conclude if all candy types have equal favorability, or if our chocolate are favored over all other candy types, if the quality of cocoa rating does not significantly differ when compared to recent review years, or the quality of cocoa significantly differs when compared to recent review years, and if the quality of cocoa does not significantly differ when compared to cocoa percent, or the quality of cocoa significantly differs when compared to cocoa percent. What data is required to address the goal? We will want to look at the data that determines which candy customers prefer the most or least, the data from the country with the most least popular, most least favored candy, the data collected from the most popular company location, the data collected from the country with the most popular bean types, and what's the most popular candy based on the highest amount of cocoa contained. We will be looking at the following variables, so we have candy type, rating, bean type, year review, country bean, company location, and win percent. It is helpful to understand what our variables represent, as the type of variable will determine what type of data analysis we will prepare. We also want to look for anything unusual in our data, such as missing data or outliers that can skew our data analysis. The first analysis that we ran was a frequency analysis on rating. We can see from our analysis that the rating mean was a 3.19 with a median rating of 3.25 and a total sum rating of 5718.75. This indicates that the majority of cocoa has a mid-range rating from a scale of 1 through 5, which is important when determining what kind of cocoa to use in the global market. We ran normality tests on 3 different variables, tested in each of our hypotheses to determine if the data are normally distributed. The first variable we chose to test was rating. It is a scale variable. With the test of normality, we observed significance p-value of less than 0.05 in the Shapiro-Wilk test, resulting in a non-normal distribution of data. After careful analysis of the data, we can identify that most of the data is distributed around the mean with a variance of 0.229, with having a limited number of highs and lows, resulting in a non-normal distribution. Therefore, we do not need to remove the outliers and only need to make a note of the outliers described above. The second variable we chose to test was the review year to determine if there's a normality within the distribution. After observing the KSSW test, we could determine that the normality of the distribution is non-normal. P is less than 0.05. It is worth noting that the lowest value 2006 and the highest value 2017 do not have a high degree of variance within the data, and after observing the histogram, we can determine that the data is normally distributed. The last variable we chose to test was the favorability, which the KS and SW test for normality demonstrated a non-significance of p greater than 0.05 within the distribution. We also ran a correlation test. After observing the correlation table, we can see that there is a positive correlation between review year and quality of cocoa rating, which means as the review year gets more recent or increases, the quality of cocoa rating slightly increases. After observing the second correlation table, we can see that there is a negative correlation between cocoa percent and rating, which means as the cocoa percent decreases by a unit, the quality of cocoa rating also decreases. We also ran a simple linear regression. In the first linear analysis, using review year as the independent variable and the rating as the dependent variable, the coefficients table shows that review year was a significant predictor as t equals 4.249 with a p-value of less than 0.001 of rating. The quality of cocoa significantly differs when compared to recent review year. In the second linear regression analysis, using cocoa percent as the independent variable and rating as the dependent variable, the coefficients table shows that cocoa percent was a significant predictor with t equaling 7.08 and a p-value of less than 0.001 of rating. This shows the quality of cocoa rating significantly differs from cocoa percent. Here you can see the scatter plot graphs. In the first one, it appears after observing the scatter plot, we did not violate the assumption of homozygosity. And in the second scatter plot, it appears after observing the second graph, we did violate the assumption of homozygosity. It was also important to know how does our sample compare to the known population average and if favorability differ in any way. In our analysis, we have a total of 85 candy samples in our data set that have been tested for favorability. The mean for win percent is 50.31 with a standard deviation of 14.71. Running a t-test, we can reject the null hypothesis of all candy having equal favorability. We show there is a significant difference. T-test 31.131 with a p-value of less than 0.05 in favorability as measured by win percent in our candy sample. Our estimated marginal means of win percent graph shows us that candy bars with chocolate are highly favored over candy that does not contain chocolate, which makes chocolate a better option to launch globally. We also, based on our research, we also noticed that Hershey, Mars, and Nestle are amongst the most popular chocolate companies, and the most favorite chocolate bars are Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, Twix and Reese's Miniatures, and Kit Kat, with least favored being Chiclets, Boston Baked Beans, and Nick and Lip. Finally, we ran a frequency analysis in cocoa percent. The cocoa percent mean is a 71.70% with the median rating of 70%. This indicates that the average cocoa percentage is 71%, making it an ideal percentage for chocolate. According to consumermarket.com, the map shows the top countries expected to produce cocoa over the next 6 years. Based on our data analysis, we can recommend that chocolate has more favorability over any other candy type, making a better option to launch globally. Chocolate containing 70% or more cocoa will have a better favorability worldwide. In general, we need to take into consideration the economic pressures, including sanctions and tariffs imposed on countries facing humanitarian, governmental, and political uncertainty. Therefore, Ecuador may be the target region for producing quality cocoa. With that, we thank you so much for joining us today on our chocolate in the global market presentation. Thank you.